To complete the thought here, I mean, we have the law of gravity, which basically says that there's an attractive force between bodies based on their mass, some constants, and the distance between them. So this is something that we observe in the world. But in reality, the theory of gravity, how gravity works, and the underlying thing of it, has actually been a source of a lot of scientific investigation. And there's a lot of different theories, and we have the string theory and some of these other things that are sort of coming out now to try to explain these things. So in a sense, you know, we've had the law of gravity since Newton's time, forever. Kepler and all those guys. But the theory behind it has lagged quite a bit in our understanding of it, and it's only coming to light now. And I wouldn't say even now it's black and white. Completely. So
it was originally that we had Newton's laws of motions and bodies and gravity, and for what we observed, planets and stars and galaxies, that worked really well. It still does. Now when we create satellites and whatever, we're going to slingshot them around Jupiter to get out to the outer solar system, we still use those same laws. We now know that they're not correct. They're a really good approximation, but they're not perfect. Einstein's theory of curved space and that type of thing is actually a much better example of how things work, but it's more complicated.
Right.
And so Newton's laws apply and they work pretty well, but they're not perfect. So again, the theory of how all this works and why it is the way it is, we don't know. But again, we have laws to describe what we see. We don't know exactly why it's like that, but that's how it is. So. Right. Did you have another point for us?
Okay, let me say this and then I will go ahead and get off. When I look at what I have learned through even school and studying about laws, there is a law that basically says where there is design, there must be a designer. You sit in a room that's been designed. Where there is order, there must be somebody that put it into order. No one would ever say for one moment, if they would walk into a room and look at the furniture in that room, that someone just threw a pile of wood into that room, and then over a period of a million or 2 million or 10 million years, it automatically grew into a couch covered with leather. We already know that wherever there is design, there must be a designer, and the designer is always greater than that which is designed.
Okay, so who designed God?
There's a lot of evidence that support the existence of God.
Okay, and again, we have laws, we have ways of describing the world which explain why planets form the way they do, for instance, and why solar systems work the way they do, for instance. We have things that we can observe and say why they happen that way. We don't have any evidence that there is some greater being who says, this is the way it shall be because I say it so.
Well, you said a few minutes ago that you didn't know. There are theories.
Yeah, but we don't have any evidence.
But you stated as if that's a fact. You said, I don't know where we came from. But one of those things that you don't know is
yes, we don't know
the fact that there is a God.
Yeah, we don't know for
uncategorically that there is no God. But you said
that's correct.
You don't know.
That's correct. As atheists, we do not say there is no God, period, and we know it for a fact. There could be a God.
Okay.
And until you provide any evidence for that God, we're going to put it in the same category as unicorns and elves.
Okay, that's
now, we have evidence of, let's say, string theory. We have other explanations of how things came to be, and we're looking into those. We don't know for a fact that it was this theory or that theory.
Okay.
We've got some evidence to support them, to support all the different theories that we have. We've got some evidence to support them, but we're still kind of duking it out in the scientific realms.
Okay. Now, let me ask a
until somebody provides evidence for the God hypothesis, then it's the same one as, some outside of time and space hippopotamus farted the universe into existence. Okay. It's got the same amount of evidence behind it.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question, and then I've got to go.
Okay.
Would you guys be open to having a forum where we can put what we believe to be evidence supporting the existence of God before your public, so that they can hear it, and in a very orderly fashion? Yeah. No argument. You present your case, and we present ours. You present your affirmative, I present my affirmative. You rebut that, I rebut yours. No argument, just the facts presented, would you be interested and open to having a forum like that where that goes on so that we can set the evidence before your atheist community?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
so how do I get it? Just contact this
Yes,
number?
I understand your question. My answer is that's mostly what the show is for.
No, but I'm talking about
the Christians and the religious side have their forum to get their ideas out. They have the Christian bookstores out there.
Sure.
They have
Answers in Genesis.
They have the Bible.
Stuff.
They have I think it's like 4 or so, possibly more than that, dedicated channels on cable network. That's nothing but religious views.
I understand.
They have their viewpoints out there, more than enough. This is our hour and a half.
Okay, so you would not be interested in having someone who believes in the reality of a living God coming forth on your show to present an argument in a debate format with you?
Because this is our show and this is our hour and a half, no.
We're happy to debate you. We
Again,
have lots of forums for that, so we're not trying to say that we're not interested in what you have to say. It's just our airtime is quite precious, and we intend to use it the way we want to.
Okay. Well, that's okay, but I just want you to know that one of the things that you don't know is that there is a God. And I appreciate at least you acknowledging that you don't know that for a fact, that there is no God. So I just encourage you to at least pick up the Bible and read it for yourself. Forget about listening to all of the
you've had this 10-minute call, and you haven't presented any evidence for God.
Okay. You haven't presented any for my evidence for Him existing. To me, is overwhelming.
You're making the wild claim.
We're going to go ahead and go on to the next caller here.
Thank you
very much
for calling.
Thank you.
Bye.